The Enfield Inland Wetlands and Watercourse Agency meeting for December 5th, 7 p.m. Can I have a pledge of allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call. Fire evacuation. In case of emergency, that you can exit the door to my left, down the stairs and away from the building, or the door in the back, and of course, away from the building.
Door in the back.
Yeah, there's a door in the back. That's quicker.
100 degrees in here, it seems like.
Oh, no.
We're cold.
We're getting all the cold air.
Yeah.
Want to switch?
Yeah.
Roll call, please.
Donna Corbin-Savinsky.
Here.
Kevin Zorda.
Here.
Virginia Higley, here. Ann Collins.
Here.
Nancy Martin.
Here.
Chris Renault.
Here.
I'd like to see Chris. Okay. Public communications and petitions. Is there anybody in the audience that wants to speak regarding items not on the agenda? Again, is there anybody who want to speak on items not on the agenda? One last call. Anybody want to speak on items not on the agenda? Seeing none, moving forward. Correspondence, I don't have any. Anybody?
None.
Nope.
Nope. Next is minutes from November 21st.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes of November 27th, 2023.
Second.
That's Kevin and Ginny. Any discussion? Anybody have anything? Okay.
Nothing.
Nope. Roll call, please.
Donna Corbin-Savinsky.
Yes.
Kevin Zorda.
Yes.
Virginia Higley, yes. Ann Collins.
Yes.
Nancy Martin.
Abstain.
Nope. Yep.
Chris Renault.
Yes.
5 in favor, 1 abstain. Next, we have the town attorney report from November 27th, somewhere in my packet.
Hearings. No,
Here it is.
No hearings. Oh, no, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, the town attorney report from November 27th. It gives us a list of the items in litigation, and I do have one question. Georgie, whoop. Go ahead. On October 3rd, we asked to have Yankee casting be sent to the attorney, but I haven't seen it.
Yep, there's been no update right now just because we are trying to figure out which town attorney will be taking that case over. And I believe Rick is still working with Deep to try and get recent communication about what their current status is and basically the fine-tooth comb details of what's going on.
Okay, thank you. Next is continued public hearings, we have none. New public hearings, we have none. Old business, finally. DPN 2023-1027 North Maple Street, application for a ruling for a timber harvest for agricultural cropland. Cliff Chapman applicant, Mayfield Place, the second LLC owner, map 79, lot 11, R44 zone.
So I received an email later this morning that the applicant has requested to withdraw the application.
Oh. Okay,
So we don't need to save anything.
No, he withdrew.
he withdrew.
Thank you.
Withdrawn. We don't have to vote to
Nope.
say anything? Okay. Okay, thank you very much. Let me get rid of that pile.
That's a huge pile.
That's a huge pile.
Yeah.
You might
Next
want to hang on. I'm sorry. You might want to hold on to it just to
Yeah,
be
just in
safe.
case.
I'm not sure if he plans to come back or not, but from what I can tell from what he intended, I believe he's trying to get more information ready. So I would hold on to it just in case.
Okay, perfect, thank you.
So hold on to it.
Hold on to it. So next is new business. IW 692, 1A Glenwood Street, application for a wetland permit for the removal of a 16 by 32 in-ground pool. Paul Moore, applicant owner, map 76, lot 236, R44 zone. Hi. Could you state your name and address for the record?
What now?
Hi, could you state your name and address for the
Paul
record?
Moore on 1A Glenwood Street, Enfield.
Hi, welcome.
Huh?
Could you give us a little background on what you're doing?
He's got to get.
If you could sit down here?
Yeah.
I don't want to deal with it no more.
Oh, that's nice.
Caved in, it's done.
Just talk
Just
into
with
the microphone, please.
Make sure it's on. Is there
Bless you.
the red light? Is it? No. So you need to fill in your pool?
Yeah, when I fill my pool in, because it's, caved in and done, it's not gonna do, fix it.
Okay,
It's 4 feet deep.
thank you.
So This came to our attention from a building code violation that started back in March. There was work done to the house in the vicinity where the wetlands are on the property without any permits pulled. So Mr. Moran is applying for a permit to rectify that situation. So he is applying for the permit for the removal of his in-ground pool. And I do want to note that it should also include the poolside addition as well, because that was also built without permits. And the applicant states the pool will be filled in with sand. However, it should be clarified a little bit further, just as quantity and quality, and if any E&S controls will be included or not. And then I have no other departmental comments in regards to the application.
Okay. So, where are you getting the dirt and sand from to fill it in? Pardon?
Plaza Trucking gonna bring it in.
Plaza Trucking's gonna bring it in?
Yeah.
I think we've had.
From where? Do you know where they're?
Sand. North Maple Street, yeah, Plaza Trucking, been there 100 years, I guess.
I think they've done others.
Plaza. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
8-yard truck, fill it in, only 4 feet deep. That's it.
Yep.
Liners out.
Yeah. Okay.
Done, because the insurance company wants me to get that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is a neighborhood like most of our neighborhoods in town,
Yeah, built prior to 1972.
without the wetlands and stuff. There's no,
Pool's been there forever.
pool's been there forever. There's no,
Been on the property since 1985, so.
Yeah.
okay, yeah, it's all disturbed wetlands anyways. Are they gonna put up any erosion controls around it while they're doing it, or?
No, because it's all dead flat. The yard's all dead flat. I'm gonna open the fence up like I did last time. And just come in, dump it in.
Okay.
You gonna plant grass on
On
top?
top of it?
Pardon?
What are you gonna,
Plant grass on top?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, just, that's it,
so you're gonna have topsoil?
same place. I get from Joey O'Cory, I'm not sure yet.
Joey Corey.
There's gotta be a preference for the topsoil, which one?
No, just wondering what kind of
Well,
topsoil.
I've done business with Plaza my whole life.
Okay.
There's still many improvements.
And then I saw you're gonna saw cut the slab?
Pardon?
You're gonna saw cut a slab? You must have a,
Take this perimeter off the top.
Yeah.
Get rid of it,
okay.
remove it.
Take it off the property and get rid of
The
it.
property down to, one of the 2 recycling places with the, I've had a concrete business for 45 years, so.
Okay, they're gonna cut it off and take it and
Yeah, I'm gonna.
put grass and
Got the
stuff?
saw, take the top off, that's it. Throw it on my dump truck.
Okay. So,
Grass it up.
okay. George, did you have any,
Cut, didn't have more lawn to cut, that's all.
okay?
I have no further comments.
Right now, it's 4 feet deep exactly, you can see the sand, you can see, right now, you can see 4 feet deep,
Okay.
no water in it, there's nothing,
Yeah, what's around it?
grass.
Okay,
Has a perimeter concrete, no walk around it.
yeah,
That's it. Which I'm gonna saw cut and remove.
looks so flat.
Me.
Okay. They also want us to make your shed compliant? You don't have a permit for your shed?
Not the shed, the poolside addition, which is
poolside addition?
right in front of the pool.
What
So
is it?
It's like a little tiny pool house. So there,
Pool house, it was screened in and then I just framed it in. It was always there.
there should be a little memo or site plan in your packet that shows a red area from the building permit that he was pulling. That just shows the location of the little pool addition. It's right off the house. You'll see the solar panels, and then right below that, you'll see the little tiny addition, just to make him compliant.
It was always there.
Just to make him compliant, we're going to include this as well in our permit. That way, everything is covered, and then also during the project, we will keep an eye on it and just do occasional site inspections just to make sure that the site is stabilized and there's no sediment running off.
Okay, okay. Thank you. Does anybody have any other comments or questions? To my right? No? Okay. So, do you want to do something?
Yeah, you want to make a motion? Mm-hmm. Can I borrow that?
Yeah, we can't find it. You're looking for something, but we have to add the.
Yes.
Excuse me, one more thing. My site-specific recommendation is completely up to you as the agency to decide on whether or not to act on. The other thing is, as the building permit goes through departmental review, Rick has been pretty on top of things of ensuring if whether or not projects need silt fencing or not. So I just want to point that out there, that he always does catch it when they come down the ladder for zoning review.
Good, good, okay, perfect.
Should we do, so do we want to do that?
Yeah, make sure that it gets the, right here.
Yeah, yeah, just checking here.
Yes, it's,
It's almost, you almost can't because, I mean, it's not going to make a difference. Depends on which way it slopes.
yeah, except the land's flat.
Yeah.
But you'll check on it if.
Yes, we're going to keep a close eye on it, just
Okay.
because of the situation with the building code complaints and everything like that.
Okay.
All right, I'm good. All right, I will make a motion to approve IW number 692 1A Glenwood Street, applications for a wetlands permit for the removal of a 16 by 32 in-ground pool. Paul Moran, applicant, owner, map 76, lot 236, R44 zone, with, including the removal of a, I'm sorry.
No.
And allowing the on-site pool building to stay?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. And
Second.
then, yeah. I think we should include in there a site-specific condition that if deemed necessary by staff, silt fencing will need to be installed.
There's fencing all around it now.
No, silt fencing.
Silt fencing, it's like-
If they deem that there's enough slope that,
It's dead flat, yeah.
Well, they're gonna check on it as
Yeah.
it's happening and if the staff.
staff.
Yeah, and as, that's what we do, and then, that's what they do. And if it
their
seems.
job.
It's their job. And if it seems like it's, spreading out to the neighbors or something, they'll have you.
Yeah.
No, that's fine, that's fine.
Second.
Okay, that's good. Ginny, second, any discussion, further discussion? No. Okay, roll call, please.
Donna Corbin-Savinsky.
Yes,
Kevin Zorda.
Yes.
Virginia Higley, yes. Ann Collins.
Yes.
Nancy Martin.
Yes.
Chris Renault.
Yes.
6 in favor, motion passes. Thank you very much. You're all set. Good luck.
Spring's coming too.
Spring's coming, that's right. Okay. Let 'em get away. Okay, next is AAA 133, 13 Louise Drive, application for an authorized agent approval for a shed. Josh Morgan applicant, Marie Bennett.
Eshiagarai.
There you go. Sorry about that. Owner, map 53, lot 324, R33 zone. Could you state your name and address for the record?
Joshua Morgan, 13 Louise Drive.
Okay. How'd you say the name again?
Benitez Eshiagarai. I believe it's Basque, Spanish.
Okay, thank you. Sorry. So could you give us a little,
Yep, just want to install a pre-built 12 by 20 shed in the backyard. It'll be on gravel. They'll come in and they'll, prepare the site and drop off the shed, and that's it.
and you'll be done?
Yep,
And
we'll
you'll
be
be
done.
happy.
Yep, so just like a majority of our residential properties here in Enfield, built prior to that Clean Water Act coming into play. So Josh, I don't want to pronounce the last name, sorry. He is just applying for the shed in the back of the property. It will be a 20 by 12 square foot shed, and it's about 22 by 14 foot, including the gravel. Normally, I could do this as a normal agent approval through the building permit process, but just because of all the wetlands from the past, our requirement, our regulations are to have them come before the agency. So
Yeah.
that is why the applicant is here tonight.
Yep.
All departmental comments have been satisfied, and I have no recommended site specifics.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Any comments, discussions to my left? To the right?
Not keeping vehicles or anything in it?
No.
Yeah. For lawnmowers and all that?
Right, exactly.
Yeah, bikes,
I will make a motion to approve AAA number 133, 13 Louise Drive, application for an authorized agent approval for a shed. Josh Morgan applicant, Marie Benitez Sherry.
That's close
Thank you,
enough.
sorry. Yeah, I tried. Owner, map 53, lot 324, R33 zone.
Second.
Jenny, second. Any discussion? To my left? Nope. Right? Nope. Roll call, please.
Donna Corbin Sabinski.
Yes.
Kevin Zorda.
Yes.
Virginia Higley, yes. Ann Collins.
Yes.
Nancy Martin.
Yes.
Chris Renault.
Yes.
6 in favor, motion passes. Good luck.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Enjoy your shed. They're great.
Those are a godsend.
They're always nice. Next is IW 693, 327 Brainerd Road. Application for a wetlands permit for the maintenance of the detention pond. Jennifer Breimer and Michael McManus, applicants. Ashfield Commons Condominium Association, owner, map 77, lot 58, R33 zone. Hi.
Hey, good evening.
Hi. Could you state your name and address for the record? I didn't speak into the mic. Yeah.
So my name is Joseph D'Amelio, and the address that we're talking about is 327 Brainerd Road.
Okay, thanks. So you want to give us some background?
Yeah, absolutely. So as
Is
we,
the person on?
yes, they are on,
They're all on.
Teams. So the contractor is based out of South Carolina, so we have set up a virtual meeting to accommodate them. This was before us back in 2022 under IW 666. The application was denied without prejudice due to lack of sufficient engineering information on the site plan per the pond work. The original approval for the entire site as a whole is under IW 474. I believe you had these documents in your packet. So basically, their proposal is quite simple. They are just doing stormwater pond maintenance and dredging. They have a different contractor than what was before you in the past, and I do have 2 departmental comments, one being from Planning and Zoning. Staff recommends that a condition be added where the applicant can apply for agent approval for future pond maintenance requests. It should be clarified how much sediment is to be removed from the pond. Site plan should include more location information as to where the off-site effluent swale is and where the detention basin at the west end is located. I do want to note that the first sentence about recommending a condition be added where the applicant can apply for agent approval for future pond maintenance. That was something I was thinking of to try and make the process going forward for future maintenance requests more smooth. But then I was thinking of all the technical information and what's really required. So when they apply for agent approval, they still have a responsibility of satisfying that application requirement. So I was trying to weigh whether or not the technical information would still be necessary for that agent approval, which I believe it would. So if you were blessing, if that would be okay as a site-specific, then that would be something staff would be happy to monitor in the future for future maintenance, and we would be sure to include all pond maintenance information, soil stockpiling, E&S, location, machinery, all that stuff. And of course, it would go through the agency instead of me just approving it as is. The last comment I have is still outstanding from the engineering department, and I have not been updated by our engineer if this has been satisfied or not, but it's pretty much the application letter states when dewatering the retention basin, Aqualis plans to pump the water to the detention basin at the west end of the site along Brainerd Road frontage. This should be clarified that the pumped water shall be conveyed in a hose within the subject site directly to the west and detention basin. The town does not want the pumped water running in the Brainerd Road right-of-way. Additionally, under the Aqualis proposed services, it states under dewatering with trash pumps that they plan to establish a bypass of influent structures and swales to be discharged into quarry logs near effluent swales offsite. Where is this offsite effluent swale? And then, of course, the one site specific that I mentioned before, and that is all the information that I have. Thank you.
Hi, this is Jennifer.
Hi, Jen.
Brock, he's also on the call, and he will be able to go over this.
Okay?
Yep. Sorry, I'm Brock Marks. I'm a stormwater infrastructure consultant for Aqualis. I'm in a vehicle, but I'll turn my camera on so y'all can see me. So yeah, so this everything stated before is correct. To just a little background on the site, whether I don't know if it matters or not, is this site the last time that detention or the pond that we're working on for the dredging and working on the vaults there. Last time it was located, it was in 1988, so just established a little bit of a timeline. So this thing hasn't functioned properly since at least 1988. To run down our discharge, that there is an error in the proposal. It's supposed to have a specific discharge site. At the time, we weren't exactly sure where that was going to be. And so there is no swale that we're intending to discharge into. It'll be conveyed through a hose, through a discharge hose, into the detention pond to the west. No discharge into the street. Will pass through a control structure or otherwise the mechanism for treatment prior to discharging into the groundwater or MS4. So is that, and I can move on to the next thing, or
That's fine.
okay. Wait, I guess one question that I did have is that the O&M, I don't know if there's an O&M ever on file for this site for the operation and maintenance agreement, but to answer kind of how we would move forward, or I guess we would also have a question for our own maintenance for the site is, this site technically should have monthly maintenance on the stormwater pond itself, and the vaults probably quarterly to biannual. So I don't know if that gives any insight into what would be needed for the planning or the permitting for being allowed to conduct the operations.
That's a question. Would Aqualis be the continued contractor for the monthly maintenance work, providing annual reports and stuff like that?
Joe, I don't do the sales side, but Joe, I don't know if that's correct or not.
Into agreement yet, but it is implied that that's going to be the case moving forward once the project's complete.
Okay, if that is the case and you plan to have the same contractor, then I would just recommend that site-specific of either whenever you decide to do pond maintenance to include those reports to our department, and maybe make a site-specific of like recommended monthly maintenance be allowed via report to the planning staff.
Okay, yeah, we would follow the Yukon Stormwater DEQ manual, and we'll provide that in follow-up reports and prior to going out. I'm sorry, the next item that needed to be addressed on there.
So they're not going to do that. Did he get it all we're saying? They're using the,
Jetback clean the galleys. That must be the maintenance.
right. Yeah. Oh, where is the off-site swale? But you're not going to be using it, right?
That was an error. There is no offsite swale. It all from the plans and what I've seen, it all discharges into the MS4 system or through ground, through the ground, through infiltration.
So we'll need updated plans.
Yes. So the updated we would change that it's going to go through a trash pump into another body of water, a designed stormwater pond, but it will not discharge into the street. It won't be superficial discharge, or it won't discharge over ground. It'll be a hose going into another pond. That pond is actually not supposed to be a pond, the one that we're working on currently. So it's not going to continually be dewatered once we're done. It'll look like a dry bowl when we're done. So, all going well, it'll be dry very soon.
Okay. So we'd want updated.
Yeah, you can make that another site-specific, that final plans reflect the updated comments and locations, as well as the final outcome once the work is done.
I have a set of the original plans if you would like me to display. I don't know if that helps or not.
The updated comments and the,
Updated dewatering.
yeah. Okay, sorry, writing it down.
Oh, no, it's okay.
Yeah.
I'm not an awesome public speaker, so I go a little fast. So just slow me down.
You're
Doing
fine.
great,
You're
Brock.
doing okay.
Thanks, Joe.
So they're gonna update the plans with their,
Updating dewatering plans.
yeah, and the
Dewatering,
comments,
yeah.
yeah, those comments. You know, like they're not gonna have the off-site swale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll ultimately go the same way that the rest of the water on the site would go.
So do we need this future agent approval? Or-
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so after,
Yeah,
once they
yeah,
get this
yeah.
done, then every,
Okay, so 3.
right,
Plus,
so we're gonna have
having
3.
those monthly reports will contribute greatly to that kind of thing. So.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
make it helpful. Yeah, so I think that's it. Did you have anything else, Georgie?
No, thank you.
Anybody?
Okay. Anything else that you have, or?
I don't believe so. There's any other questions?
Questions, anybody? Questions, anybody? No?
All right, I will make a motion to approve IW number 693, 327 Brainerd Road, application for a wetlands permit for the maintenance of the detention pond. Jennifer Breimer and Michael McManus applicants, Ashmead Commons Condominium Association owner, map 77, lot 58, R33 zone, with site-specific conditions to include that future agent approval may be had for future maintenance.
Thanks. Yeah.
Recommended monthly maintenance with notification to IWWA staff, and updated final plans with dewatering plans and comments.
Second.
Any discussion? Any discussions? No? Roll call?
Donna Corbin Sabinski.
Yes.
Kevin Zorda.
Yes.
Virginia Higley, yes. Ann Collins.
Yes.
Nancy Martin.
Yes.
Chris Renault.
Yes.
Yes. 6 in favor, motion passes. It'll be nice to have your pond all maintained.
Keep it maintained.
Thank
Keep it
you.
maintained. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Good luck with your project. Next is enforcement reports.
None to report.
None to report. Okay, next is planning staff report.
Something to report. So back at our last meeting, I provided you a letter from Lodestar with a declaration of their intent to file a petition with the Siting Council. I just want to elaborate a little bit what that means. Siting Council is the state governing body that has jurisdiction over large solar projects in the state of Connecticut. Unfortunately, because it's a state oversight, our local voices don't have a lot of impact. However, when these projects go towards petition for Siting Council, the Siting Council lets us know of this intending public hearing, and we as a town have a option to either submit comments, participate as a party, and we can have a say depending on what the project is, and it goes to the Siting Council during their hearing. So the reason why I bring this up is because after that letter was discussed at our last meeting, the next day I had received the site plan of their proposed panels. So I originally thought it was just the 141 location, but it also includes the 2 additional properties right behind it. So it's actually 3 parcels. There's also a farm pond in the middle parcel that is not on our GIS. So because it's not on our GIS, I did not catch it previously. So they're on our site plan that I gave to you tonight shows the farm pond and a 100-foot buffer, and all the work is outside that 100-foot buffer, but I wanted to present this to you to let you know that this is a water course, and this is what they are planning on doing.
We don't have any say anyways.
You could still
You could still respond, right?
Yeah,
make
you can make
comments.
comments and respond, and I know that it was brought up at town council Monday night, and from what I can tell, I think they're going to do something, but don't quote me on that. I'm not sure what their actual intent is. But these are the plans that we got after I gave you guys the letter. And I was like, oh, that's a lot more than just 1 parcel.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to bring that to your attention.
Yeah. I think at minimum, if that something should be, that something should be said, that the farm pond needs to be protected with any kind of construction that's done.
Yeah, so they will have silt fencing and they have silt socks as well as anti-tracking pads for construction. And they also have, they're going to do a couple of evergreen tree plantings from what I can tell off their project. And of
You
course,
could read that?
and then with any project, we always keep an eye on it. However, the state projects, they tend to be a little bit more complicated than our local projects, so there's only so much that we can do as staff. But I can definitely make a comment to them that the Wetlands Agency of Enfield would like to see the pond protected from any runoff and sediment like that.
And also, I think the other thing, it looks like in this plan, the colored plan, that they intend to do a planting all the way around. Probably, yeah, proposed evergreen screening. I assume they're going to use arborvitae. But there should be some provision in there if there's not for maintenance of those and some sort of bond. I don't know if we can, how that would happen.
I don't know if we can do that just because it's a state decided project. I can definitely talk to the other planners in the office if that would be a thing. I'm just not 100% sure how we do that besides submitting written comments into them, which I can 100% do, and I can talk about how the Wetlands Agency would prefer the pond to be adequately protected, which from the plan, it looks like they already have silt fencing around that buffer area, and they don't plan to do any work. And then I can also write about if they have any planned maintenance for the trees and stuff like that.
Yeah, just from experience, I've seen these that, half of these trees will die. And there should be some sort of bond to make sure that they're replaced. I've seen problems with that. I've had customers in Broadbrook that have had issues with that. So it looks like the whole west and north side are lined with evergreens, which are going to be arborvitaes. I can
Okay.
pretty much guaranteed it.
Yeah, I'll definitely, I will definitely bring that up to them. And if you're blessing, I'll just write a little letter explaining the comments that the agency had tonight.
Thank you.
That'd be nice. Did you have anything else?
That's all I have.
Oh, okay. So the next is applications to be received. We have IW 694, 10-Wheeler Drive, application for a wetland permit for the installation of a retaining wall. Daniel Smith, applicant owner, map 80, lot 165, LODR 33 zone. We had two on our desk.
I have two written sentences if you'd like me to read them for you.
Perfect.
Okay, so we received two applications that did not make it onto our agenda. They're both for agent approvals. One is AAA number 134, 6 Park Ave and 809 Enfield Street, application for an agent approval request for the expansion of the outdoor display. This is the Gary Rome Kia dealership right across the street from Town Hall. This is also map 29, lots 71 and 72 BG zone. The last one is AAA number 135, 20 Burnham Street. This is an application for agent approval request for an addition/deck onto the existing house. David Pollock, applicant owner, map 52, lot 242, R33 zone. With that being said, there actually was one more thing I wanted to talk about under report of planning staff that I just remembered. I was wondering if the agency would entertain a possible reg amendment to make a section for homeowners that were built prior to the Clean Water Act, if we could allow, and I could draft it up as well, a couple of ideas of what I've been thinking lately, but just based off all the agent approvals and the projects that have been going on, I think it might be beneficial to the Enfield public if we included a section that kind of explained along the lines of for building permits, minimal soil disturbance, and depending on the project, of course, if it's a property built before 1972 that exists on historical wetlands during when that subdivision was built, then the agent can approve it through the building permit as long as XYZ is satisfied. So if you would entertain that, I can draft something up and have something ready for you guys to look at in the next month or two, maybe 3, depending on time. But I'm just thinking that it might be more helpful so people like Josh
through,
and
yeah.
so they don't have to go through that process and pay an extra fee for this. Because, for example, this addition that Mr. Pollock is getting for his house, a small sunroom and a small deck, is costing about $140,000, and now he's paying extra to have a agent approval permit granted. So, and it also would make staff time more efficient because then I can focus on less worrying about somebody's 240 square foot shed and more on like violations or some of our POCD goals that we are hoping to get established, like our wonderful wetlands brochure that I started and then stopped, and then just a more adequate use of time to get our goals done. And that's just what I was thinking.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
agree with you, yeah. I think it would make it a lot easier for the public and
Okay.
staff and everything.
Okay, so I'll draft a few sentences up and I'll bring it to you when it's ready and just critique it as you may, and we can go from there.
Yeah, obviously, they're near a brook or something, we'd have to.
I do have a enforcement report under that sort of. I just want to check in for 10 Wheeler Drive because it has been a while. I want to know if.
They're being received tonight.
What's that?
They're received tonight.
Yeah, I realize that, but I wanted to make sure because the pictures that it showed that the silt fence wasn't properly done intact, so I wanted to just see if Rick was able to check on that again and just to make sure that that's happening.
Yeah, we have been checking the site quite frequently, just given the situation of how close it is to the
Exactly,
lake
yeah.
and the flood zone. If I recall, I do believe they were fixed, but I will double check tomorrow when I'm in the office.
Excellent, thank you.
Anybody have anything else under miscellaneous?
Nope.
Okay. Motion to adjourn?
I move to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. And it is
Unanimous. So anyway, just
7:37.
7:37.
7:37.
We are adjourned.